Coach, take on Northern Kentucky this Friday and Saturday. Can you just give a quick preview and what you know from the Norse?
Yeah, I think they're a really good team. Their coaching staff's been there for a long time. They've got a lot of great Cincinnati kids on their roster, so they're tough and organized and a great team, and we strategically wanted to play them home and away, so appreciate them agreeing to that. It's a good test for us. It's mirrors a top-level MAC team, in my opinion, and allows us to kind of go through a little bit of a preview for what it will look like next week when we get into the conference schedule. So we're fired up. They're good. We're excited to play them at home and see where we're at.
What challenges does it present playing a team, back-to-back nights?
I think in a way it's a good challenge because you have to make adjustments if something didn't work. You don't want to be reactive and throw everything out the window, but what are the few chess piece moves you can make? If we were getting beat in certain matchups, can you rotate differently? Give yourself a chance to have different matchups. And as a staff, it's more on us. Can we kind of play the chess game from night one to night two? And for the players, it's just a good learning experience for them. So that's, once again, it's a real good preview for what we'll see in the MAC most of the weekends we play.
Yeah, with MAC play approaching, what do you want to see differently out of your team? Obviously, what have you seen that your team has done good as well? But what areas do you want to see improvement?
Yeah, like some of the stuff we worked on in practice this morning. We're trying to get our left side blockers, a little farther along. We're trying to get our middles more involved, from an offensive standpoint. But we're serving well. We're blocking, well in the middle on the right side. We're doing a lot of things great. It's just kind of to get those areas where we feel like we can get better a little farther along. Some of that's youth and inexperience. So, you get 2 or 3 days to practice each week, not a ton of time. You got to be mindful of injuries and, overuse, but we're trying to be very pointed in, hey, here's the areas we're doing good at. Let's keep getting volume at that. Here's the areas where we've been struggling a little bit statistically. Can we go back and train those areas and put intention on getting better at that?
In what ways do you feel this non-conference slate that we've had has just helped prepare the team, going into conference play?
Well, I think, from the first weekend, those teams were tough. Every first weekend's tough and to get organized, but I think the level of competition's gone up each week. So, everyone we've played, I think, mirrors a good MAC team. There hasn't been any easy matches, and I think, ending with NKU, strategically, we look at them as a really good team in Cincinnati and, a program that, we're trying to get to where they are. So I think it's been great, and I think we're winning matches, beating Duquesne, they've had a great preseason. It proved to us we can win in 5. We needed to go through that. And then now we need to be able to bounce back and beat a good team like NKU, and that's what it's going to take to make the conference tournament. Is we're going to have to win matches, especially at home, versus teams as good as Duquesne and NKU.
Gentry Work was recently named MAC Defensive Player of the Week. Obviously, we've touched on her throughout the year, and you just highlighted that blocks has been something that has been one of our strengths. How has she just impacted the younger group? Obviously, we've talked about how steady she's been and all the things, but what does her effect have, obviously not just on the court, but just through her teammates as well?
Well, I think especially a skill like blocking, that can really change the momentum of the game, and it's something that, we've scored a lot of points from the end line, as far as defensively, going on runs and putting points on people, and she's a big part of that. I think she's probably top 10 in the country in blocks and leading the MAC, and statistically, it's points that you don't really count on all the time. That's a big outlier to have someone blocking at that rate. So it really helps us. It helps our young team. We can count on her to go out there and score points when maybe the offense isn't working as good or we're not passing as well. And I think that inspires the rest of the team to play hard, and it's fun too, right? You get a big block and that can completely change the energy, especially if things aren't going well. So I think we count on her for that. We're going to need her to keep doing it. We're going to need her to keep doing more of it. Getting her more involved in the offense is really important. She stepped up from the end line. We had her serve for the first time this year, and she did a great job, especially in that set 5. So, if Gentry has a big year, we're going to be pretty good and quite hard to beat.